Haircut, I need one. Lips, Kat Von D's homegirl. That way, no one asks, okay? Don't ask. Alright, so, a question that I've been getting a lot recently is, I've been using the flat iron method and my dreads are melting and burnt. What do I do to fix it? So, a video that I've come across was Dr. Dlocks. Her video illustrates this quite perfectly on what happens to synthetic hair when you just use straight heat. Using straight heat on synthetic hair just burns it to shit, and then that's where it like melts together. Because synthetic hair, 100% Kanekalon hair, it's plastic. It is plastic. So if you're not using enough water, it will stick together and melt like that. Now, the one thing to keep in mind if you're making synthetic dreads is that it's not the water or the heat that seals the dread, it's the steam that the water and heat create that seals the dread. So when you're making synthetic dreads with the flat iron method, the way that I do it without a cloth or anything. I use a lot of water. I completely saturate the dread, and then I use the flat iron to create that steam. So when you're sealing it this way, it's the same with like curling your hair. When you're making curls in your hair, you want to hold the curl until it sets. So when your hair cools is when you let it go. It's the same with synthetic hair. So when you're sealing a synthetic dread and you're using a lot of water, and you're holding that dread and then you're sealing it, you want to hold it tight until the dread cools. That way the seal will take. But like you gotta remember, it's not the heat or the water that seals the dread, it's the steam that both of those things create that seals it. So you just want to make sure that you're holding your dread tight and letting it cool before you let it go. And this will help with sealing your dreads. To avoid burning your dread, use a cloth. Completely saturate the cloth in water. Not that it's dripping wet, but that it's wet enough to create that steam. So you can saturate your dreads as well before you use the cloth. That way you have enough water to create a lot of steam for that dread to seal. Just make sure that it's not dripping wet. The way that I seal dreads, I completely ignore the whole cloth thing of it because I use so much water when I make my dreads. And this is a method that takes a lot of practice to know when to seal and when to stop. And what I mean by that is like you need to know when the steam is done. So when you first set that flat iron on the dread, when it's soaking wet, you'll hear that sizzle. When it dies down, that's when you release from the flat iron and you hold it until that dread's cool. And that's how you know that the seal stayed and that it's good to let go. I used to use a cloth. Sometimes I do. You get a different kind of texture if you use cloth. But you just gotta know, like you need to know that it's the steam that's sealing the dread. If you want a lot like softer dreads, after you use the cloth method with the flat iron, just run your dreads over like with cold water after they're sealed, and that will loosen up the dread. This happens a lot with natural crochet dreads because when you're sealing them, sometimes you either use a flat iron method or you use the teapot method. The teapot method strips the synthetic hair of that silicone coating that's on it. Excuse me. The silicone coating that's on synthetic hair is what keeps it from matting together in the bag. So when you're making like the hand crocheted style dreads, you're putting them on like a hanger and then you're pretty much rinsing them with really hot water. All that stuff comes off and then it seals the dread. So when you're putting on that hot water, it like you'll watch, like if you watch the dreads, you see them like this normal, and then you pour the water on and then they do this. That's that steam and the heat from the water just pulling all the fibers close together. Now you want to do that a couple times if you're sealing with the teapot method. But you want to know, like, you got to make sure that the water's hot enough that it's producing that steam around the dread to force it to seal. Sometimes if you use this method, you'll have to reseal the ends with like a flat iron or whatever, but it does work. And with those kind of dreads, it makes them a lot softer and more pliable for hair and stuff like that. But all in all, like, it's the biggest problem that you come across with synthetic dreads, especially with synthetic dread makers as well. You can, if you've been making synthetic dreads as long as I have, you can tell when something's burnt and when it's not, even if it's slightly burnt. If I ever make a set, when I make my pre-made dreads and stuff like that, when I'm working on sets, if I burn anything, I throw that dread away. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a slight little, like, oh shit, I singed it, garbage. That's especially if I'm making something for somebody else. I'll throw it away. It's not, like, it's, no. But if I'm making dreads for myself, I don't give a fuck. But that's one thing you need to know with making synthetic dreads, is that it's the steam that seals it. It's not the heat or the water, it's the steam. Yeah. So, I've been talking really fast, I'm sorry. So as you know, with my dread store, I recently closed it for like a week because I had to go back home for Christmas and stuff. Had to. So I'll be reopening it with a couple more dread sets and stuff like that. I want to make a couple more and then open it again. As some of you know, like, I can't do custom at the moment just because I don't have enough hair. There is a couple hair places here in Halifax that I've checked out. They fucking suck. Like, I've never been so disappointed in my life. But there's one that's actually relatively close to me. And, like, I walked in and I asked the lady, I was like, do you have any, like, teal or lavender Kanekalon? And she didn't even know what I was talking about. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, how do you get to be your age and not know what teal is? Or violet? Or fucking lavender? Like, seriously? Fucking seriously? I've never been so angry in my life. So, I've been looking at websites and stuff for ordering synthetic hair because I want, like, the full spectrum, okay? Like, that's what I need. Like, I need hot orange, I need burnt umber, I need teal and lavender, I need light green, I need forest green, I need all of those colors, but there's so few places that have it as a decent price that doesn't gouge for shipping. And I've looked everywhere, and so far the only website that I seem to have found that has a decent price is Doctored Locks. And I've stalked that website for probably 2 years now. And after they put more stuff in stock, I'm going to be placing a giant order of synthetic hair. And hopefully I can start doing custom orders, because I used to do custom a long time ago. And it was fun. It was fun for me. But, like, I also want it to be a reasonable price for people as well. So, like, I don't know. If you've ever been on my web store before, you know that, like, if I make, like, a full set of hair, like a full set of dreads and stuff, usually if it's a set of 40 or 50, it's $95.50. That's a standard price that I sell my full sets at. This is more because it covers shipping and stuff like that and the labor that it takes to make them. But also, I'm a lot cheaper than other dread makers. When it comes to, like, LS7, what's her name? Dreaded Witch, Dread Witch, I think that's her name. I don't know, whatever. Peacock Dreads, Imp and Petal, Icy Dreads. Like, I'm a little bit cheaper than those ones. But like I try to be, because I want dreads should be affordable, right? And I don't feel like, I don't know, I just, like, my dreads should be affordable. Like, I want everybody to be able to have, like, something that I've created, because it's something that I enjoy. And I like sharing my knowledge of how to make this stuff. I love seeing pictures of people that make dreads from my tutorials and stuff like that. I love that. And like I just want, I don't know, to get my name out there and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know if that makes any sense. But since my dread store opened in late September, I've made 2 sales. But I've also been selling my dreads here in Halifax too, by like a couple people around town and stuff. And they've also like put the word out and stuff. Because I go by word of mouth when it comes to like my synthetic dreads and stuff like that, and my extensions and whatever. So that's another thing to keep in mind, is I don't advertise my stuff. Like, if somebody wants to know, if they ask me at work about my dreads, I don't point them to my YouTube channel. I just tell them, like, yeah, I have a dread store and blah, 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 and you can check it out here. And then they'll end up finding, like, links and stuff eventually. Like, I don't like broadcasting that, like, oh, hey, I'm on YouTube, blah, blah, blah. Because I'm just like, yeah, I do that. Whatever. It's just a thing I do. This is for fun. This is fun for me. This is a hobby. This is what I like to do. But, like, it's something to keep in mind. Like, I'm trying to make sure that, like, my dreads are affordable, because I don't, like, want them to be, like, super expensive that nobody can buy them or afford them ever, kind of thing, you know? So, yeah. So, if you're looking for help, and you've used my tutorials and you're still confused, feel free to email me. It's just jessysdreads@gmail.com. Oh, my brain almost lost the words there. You can also send me a message on Facebook. My Facebook is www.facebook.com/justjessydb. You can post pictures there. It's a lot easier for me to help you if I know what I'm looking at and I know what you did. So, like, if you have any problems, just post a picture and I can look at it and figure out how to fix you. How to fix you. So, yeah. I also have an Instagram. It's Jessy Likes Bugs. If you've ever been on my Instagram, you know that I use the hashtag #JustJessy'sDreads. So if you look that hashtag up, you'll see a whole bunch of stuff that I've done, and stuff like that. I always post pictures of, like, the pre-made dreads that I make for my store, and that I make for, like, my friends and stuff like that. And just random shit that I do. So yeah. Oh, also, since I mentioned her, like, twice in this video, you should check out Doctored Locks here on YouTube, and their website. They're pretty reasonable, and Doc is she's very knowledgeable when it comes to synthetic hair, and when it comes to dread making and all that stuff. Like, she knows her shit, and she's worth watching and stuff. I loved her. When I first found her, I was like, hey, you know just as much as I do. And it's nice to, like, actually find somebody that's, you know, at the same level as you when it comes to, like, knowing about hair and synthetic hair and all that other shit. Because not a lot of people understand it as well as others. I mean, like, I have the advantage that, like, my aunt was a hairdresser, so, like, when I'd hang out at her place, she'd, like, teach me all this stuff about, like, hair and all that stuff that you would learn in hair school. So, like, it's just stuff that I already know. So it's a lot easier for me to explain how it works, you know? But, yeah, check out Doctored Locks, here on YouTube. She's brilliant. I'll leave a link below, if I remember. So, yeah, I think that's all I got. I'm gonna end with a clip of me drinking out of this mug, because why the fuck not? Look at it. It's glorious. It's glorious. I bought one for my boyfriend. That's Batman. It's a Batman mug. And then I bought this one, which I refer to as the Man-Bat mug. If you understand Batman, the animated series, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But, yeah, so cheers. Have a nice day. Hope your Christmas, your Yule, whatever the fuck you celebrate at this time of year went splendidly for you. And, yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can.